Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back here. And we're going to have a good conversation today. We're going to be talking about racism. Racism. Now, there's people that have actually said to me, and I've heard it said in other areas, that you'll find racism in Islam. Okay? And I've heard Muslims say, well, Islam is the cure for racism. But at the same time, you have those that counter that belief, okay? Or counter that statement. And they basically say, no, I find a lot of racism in Islam. And a lot of people laugh at the idea that Islam can cure racism. They'll say things like, but you can find racism among Muslims. And to be fair, yes, you can find some Muslims who have biases or prejudices against others because of their race or ethnicity. All right? But here's the thing, racism among Muslims doesn't mean that racism is part of Islam. There's a big difference in this scenario. Now, let's be honest. Every community has people who fall short of their ideals. Muslims are no exception to this. Just like you might find racism among people of other faiths, you can sometimes find it among Muslims too. But the key question is this: does Islam, not Muslims, does Islam, the faith itself, promote racism? Or is it actually the cure for it? Well, let's look at this form, or let's look at this form of thinking, and let's take it from a broader perspective. For example, if you talk to Christians, many will say that Christianity is against racism, right? Okay. But yet, historically, there were Christian communities and even churches that promoted racism, especially in places like America and Europe. Some even tried to use the Bible to justify their beliefs. But does that mean Christianity itself is racist? Of course it don't. It means some people twisted the teachings to fit their prejudices. So does Islam fall into the same category? Or is there something unique about how Islam addresses racism? Now let's look at Islam's stance on racism. And we're going to look at it from the perspective of the Quran and the authentic Sunnah. Sunnah, of course, to those that are not Muslim, meaning the ways and the life and the practices of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, Islam, from its very foundation, stands firmly against racism and tribalism. Why do I say that? We're about to talk about it. The Quran is explicit about the equality and the equity of all people. And you see this in Surah Al-Hujarat, where Allah states in the interpretation of the meaning, O mankind, we have created you from a male and female and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is all knowing, all aware. Now, this ayah, it makes it clear. Our differences in race, ethnicity, and background are not for us to judge or look down on each other, but for us to appreciate and learn from one another. What truly matters is our character and righteousness, not our skin color or ancestry. The Prophet, peace be upon him, also addressed this issue directly in his last sermon, one of the most important speeches in Islamic history. And what he said was this: all mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have any superiority over an Arab. A white has no superiority over a black, nor does a black have any superiority over a white. None have superiority over another except by piety and good action. Now, these teachings are not just theory. We've heard of that before in his last sermon. But reminders benefit the believers, correct? The Prophet, peace be upon him, himself lived these ideals. He appointed Bilal ibn Rabah, a black former slave, as the first official caller to prayer in the Muslim community. This is a position of great honor. He also married Sauda and Safia, both of whom were from different ethnic backgrounds. The Prophet's companions included people from Persia, Abyssinia, which is Ethiopia today, Rome, and Arabia, all treated as equals. Now, what's the real world impact of this? Even today, when you go to Hajj in Mecca, you'll see millions of Muslims from every continent, every race and culture, all dressed the same, all performing the same rituals. The experience is designed to strip away all markers of status, wealth, or race. Why, even Malcolm X, the famous African American civil rights leader, spoke about how Hajj changed his view of race relations forever. After seeing the brotherhood among Muslims of all backgrounds, he wrote, quote, America needs to understand Islam because this is the one religion that erases from its society the race problem. So, if you see a Muslim who is racist, know that they are acting against the core teachings of their own faith. Islam is not the problem. In fact, it's the solution. But like any cure, it only works if you actually apply it. It's up to us as Muslims to live these teachings and show the world through our actions that Islam is truly the cure for racism. We need to hold ourselves accountable and be the example. Islam teaches us to look beyond skin color and nationality and to judge people by their character and actions. That's a message the world needs to know more about, and now more than ever. You know, this was very basic on this subject. Would it even make sense to go into the origins and history of race and da 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 da? Not really. In Islam, the Quran and the Sunnah is clear. It's very clear. It's actually more clear than other scriptural traditions. So, if you see this type of behavior amongst the Muslims, or you hear about it or what have you, be a person of hikmah. This is a person of wisdom. Look into the sources of the faith. Does the faith, the two main sources of Islam, the Quran and the Sunnah, which are the authentic hadith, are they preaching racism? Read, study, and as I stated in another video prior to this one, we have libraries in our pockets. And no authentic or relevant information will ever tell you anything different from what I'm saying here. Keep it short, keep it sweet, because this is the truth of Islam. If you like the video, put a thumbs up. And how about subscribing and let us get to that high level of individuals supporting this channel, okay? And leave a comment and be respectful. And if you have questions, we would love to answer these questions in future videos. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of your families. Assalamu alaikum.